Hello and welcome to the Canyon Country Water Talks virtual meeting. Right off the bat, let's get started and go through our agenda. So first, we're going to talk about our project background, what Water Talks is, what we're going to be trying to do here. We're going to go over water in our environment, how it's like it, and then we're going to talk about your tap water specifically, who provides it, where it comes from. So first things first, our project background. What is WaterTalks? WaterTalks is a public program to generate and increase community involvement and understanding of local water management. Participants can learn about the state's water, raise any questions and concerns they may have, and identify what their community needs in terms of water. So, California is divided up into IRWM regions. These are the integrated regional water management regions, and each IRWM region was started during the Integrated Regional Water Management Planning Act in 2002 under Senate Bill 1672. This is for implementing and identifying regional water solutions. So we're able to divide up California to decide what each area needs the most. There are three regions in our area. Ours is the Upper Santa Clara River IRWM region. Right next to us is the Coalition of Ventura County. And then right below us is the Greater Los Angeles County. So here is a larger map of our how California is divided up. We are down here in this little area. And then even further then, we are the IRWM region is in this area right here. And then Canyon Country is in this small area in the center of that region. So, where do we get our funding? We get our funding through two ways, but all of these ways are through the Department of Water Resources. The Department of Water Resources is responsible for the state of California's management and regulation of water usage. So Los Angeles area is allocated $98 billion to work with underrepresented communities to try and tell them about their water in their area. So Proposition 1, which was implemented in 2014, puts funding towards state drinking water protection, public water system improvements, recycling, water treatment, drought relief, emergency water supply management, and watershed protection. And then Measure W, which was enacted or voted in during the last midterms, if you remember, it is a partial tax of 2.5 cents on every square foot of impervious surfaces on private property. Impervious surfaces are surfaces that water cannot penetrate, and private this only includes private property. So public property such as schools or libraries are not taxed under Measure W. This puts funding towards stormwater capture projects and nature-based water solution. So next up, water in our environment. So here is a small example of how water moves throughout our environment. Water on the surface evaporates up into clouds and then falls down on the earth through precipitation, such as rain or snow. So surface water flows in rivers, streams, or goes up to reservoirs and lakes. That surface water can then seep into Earth's permeable surfaces. Water can soak through those, and then it is stored in aquifers. Aquifers are less of underground caves and more porous gravel and rock that can hold water, similar to a sponge. Unfortunately, water can become contaminated. It can become polluted by trash and litter, pesticides, herbicides, brake pads from cars, fecal matter, or other material. So these sources of pollution can come from industrial work, such as factory work or construction work, urban activity, like driving cars, mowing lawns, or natural sources, such as fires, as you can see over here. Contaminants can come from a single identifiable source called point source pollution. such as if a factory has an outlet into a river, you can point to it and say, that is polluting our river. Whereas non point source pollution that builds up on dry surfaces and will eventually be swept into lakes and rivers when it rains, that is a non identifiable source. You cannot point to a single car or single person responsible for that pollution. Stormwater pollution can be prevented by correctly disposing of chemical material waste or by using green infrastructure practices that can treat and clean our waters. So here's a map of our watershed. We are in the Santa Clara River watershed, and that spans over Ventura County and Los Angeles County. We are right about in here. As you can see along this dotted line and the watershed border, that is our IRWM region. A watershed is an area of land that channels water flow into a common outlet via a lake, a river, or the ocean. So if water falls in this area, it will stay in this area till it gets to a common outlet. So groundwater is included in the watershed. If you look at this map, it looks a bit like the ocean is surrounding us, but all of this blue is water held in the ground underneath our feet. So here's our Santa Clarita region, again right here. So in the northeastern part of our area, right up here, groundwater is extracted from the western portion of the Antelope Valley Basin and the Acton groundwater basin, right up here. In the southern part of our area, right here, groundwater is extracted from the Santa Clara River Valley East groundwater basins, alluvial aquifer, and Saugus Formation. So the alluvial aquifer of this area and the Saugus Formation make up this whole blue region, which is the groundwater right underneath us. So flooding can happen in this area. It's rare, but it happens. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, has defined flood zones. As you can see on this map, the dark blue lines are our rivers and waterways, whereas these lighter blue lines bleeding off of that are the areas at risk for flooding. These white lines, usually following roads, are the areas with minimal flood risk. So there are 100-year floods and 500-year floods. With 100-year floods, there is a 1% annual chance of it happening or a 1 in 100 chance of it happening. For 500-year floods, it's a 0.2% annual chance of happening or a 1 in 500 chance. Localized flooding may occur within these zones or beyond these flood zones, but generally, this is a good general guideline of where flooding will occur. Access to local parks and waterways. Water bodies and the habitats and open space they contribute to all make up a part of our community and a very important part of our community. Like the streets and like any other place, we want to keep these areas clean, free of litter, and free of pollution. Certain contaminants can pose a health risk to those that recreate and even eat fish in those rivers and streams. So here's a map of our existing land use. Land use affects how water moves throughout our city. So as you can see, these gray regions show developed land. The darker gray is a low developed intensity. Medium gray is a medium developed intensity. And these whiter areas, especially these white lines, which show roadways, are a high developed intensity. So the higher development intensity, the less likely water is able to permeate those surfaces. As you can see, our rivers are this darker blue area through here, designated as wetlands, and Castaic Lake is up here as a water body. And most of our surrounded area is shrub and grassland. So developed land consists of those hardened, impervious surfaces, and often what flows across it is untreated water called urban runoff. This usually carries automotive fluids, trash, pesticides, and other pollutants that build up when it doesn't rain. So on developed land, this water can pick up speed pretty quickly since none of it is soaking into the ground. So when it hits our waterways and rivers, it causes a lot of erosion. So here are some examples of impervious surfaces that won't really help you capture and store water in the environment. As you can see, this cityscape right here is probably highest intensity development example we have, whereas these other examples are pretty highly developed, but there's still some grass and still some lawn space where water can soak through. So here are some good examples of how to capture and store rainwater. So this top left one is rainwater collection, commonly used for watering yards and preventing flooding and erosion in the yard. On the right, we have rain gardens and bioswales. The bioswale is on the top, rain garden is on the bottom. Both are permeable areas filled with native plants. They recharge groundwater while also capturing the first inch of runoff that contains most of the pollution. Bioswales are closer to a river, and a rain garden would be more similar to a lake. So in this bottom left corner, we have a wonderful example of an unpaved yard. So this yard is nearly completely made of permeable surfaces. So as soon as rain lands there, it's going to soak into the earth. So our tap water, where does it come from? So in the right over here, there's a breakdown of where California's water comes from. 41% is from the State Water Project. The State Water Project collects the water from precipitation, rainfall or snow in Northern California from Redding, and it travels through aqueducts all the way down to Los Angeles County. According to the Department of Water Resources, it is a water storage and delivery system of reservoirs, aqueducts, power plants, and pumping plants that extend more than 700 miles, two-thirds the length of California. And again, it is under control of the Department of Water Resources. Roughly 22% of our water comes from water recycling, which is used in non-agricultural municipal watering. And then groundwater makes up 30% of our water usage. So percentages fluctuate based on climate conditions, like how much rain they get up north every year. So looking more specifically at our IRWM region, in the northern region of our IRWM region, Lake Hughes and Lake Elizabeth residents receive groundwater from the Antelope Valley Basin and imported water from up in Northern California. In the eastern region, Acton and Agua Dulce residents receive groundwater from the Acton Groundwater Basin, alluvial wells near Santa Clara River, and imported water. So for a breakdown of our area's water usage, you can visit yourscbwater.com/water quality. Let's visit that right now. So if you scroll down, they have all of the reports from the past 10 years of water quality in both English and Spanish, Spanish for the past 3 years. So let's visit the 2020 report. If you scroll down, right under this map here, it gives you a breakdown of where we get our water. So we're going to look at the SV Water Santa Clarita Water Division, provides water to a portion of the city of Santa Clarita and unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County, including Saugus, Canyon Country, and Newhall. Our customers receive approximately 79% imported water and 21% local groundwater in 2019. Every year, these numbers fluctuate a little bit depending on how much it rains up north or just how much we end up taking from either the State Water Project or from underground. So moving on from that, our water service providers. So we're all underneath the Santa Clara Valley Water Agency, but that is divided up into 3 divisions. The Santa Clarita Division, which is what most of Canyon Country is under. In this light green here, there is the Valencia Water Division in this golden yellow area right here. And there is the Newhall Division, split up into 3 parts in here. Oops. Hold on. There we go. So, what is our water tested for and how did they test it? So, if you go and visit the same website as earlier, it will give you a breakdown of everything our water is tested for. So, the SCV Water Agency tests for microbial contaminants such as viruses and bacteria that may come from sewage treatment plants, septic systems, agricultural livestock operations, and wildlife. Inorganic contaminants such as salts and metals may occur naturally underground or result from urban stormwater runoff, industrial or domestic wastewater discharges, oil and gas productions, mining, or farming. Pesticides and herbicides may come from a variety of sources, such as agriculture, urban stormwater runoff, and residential uses. It's common for people to use pesticides and herbicides on their lawns. Organic chemical contaminants, including synthetic and volatile organic chemicals, that are byproducts of industrial processes, and petroleum production, and can also come from gas stations, urban stormwater runoff, agricultural application, and septic systems. Radioactive, radioactive contaminants often occur naturally under the ground, but also can be a result of oil and gas production and mining activities. Let's go back to the slide. So, how often does your water actually get tested? The SCV Water Agency conducts quarterly testing. So, 4 times a year, your water agency will test your water's safety in your community. And annual reporting is required by the State Water Resources Control Board, Division of Drinking Water. So, they are testing specifically for of these dangerous things in your water. An exceedance occurs when a concentration of a contaminant is above the established safe threshold and could potentially cause threat to human health. In simpler terms, it is dangerous in the water in a certain amount. There's too much of something in the water, so it could hurt you. If this occurs, what happens is your agency is responsible for sending an unsafe water notice to all customers. It will either come in the mail or by phone call, and it will include instructions how to proceed when using tap water. This could mean having to use a filter, boiling your water, and anytime they will shut off the water for maintenance. So if you receive your water from a private well, you are not required to test your drinking water for any contaminants. If you do receive your drinking water from a private well, it is strongly recommended that you contact your local public health agency for guidance on testing your drinking water supply. Because it is your private land, the SCB Water Agency cannot get there to test your water or tell you if there's anything dangerous in it. So you must take those steps yourself to stay safe. So here's a breakdown of the water we drink. On average, people drink 8 cups a day, which is half a gallon per day. This adds up to 182.5 gallons per year. And this could cost vastly different amounts depending on where you get your water from. If you just drink from the tap, that's 36 cents to $1.50 every year. Water jug refills, which you may be able to find at some grocery stores, I believe they're at Costco, filling up a jug like this at the grocery store, that'll cost you roughly $67.34 every year. Water jugs, buying the plastic jugs at the store, that is $364 to $910 per year. And then bottled water, buying the single bottles of water, whether they're in those large plastic cases or just in the fridge at the grocery store, that could cost you up to $1,400 per year. And I know it is common for people to buy bottled water because they feel it is safer than tap water, but we did just go over all that your water agency is doing to make sure your drinking water is safe and that you are safe drinking it. But we do more than just drink water. We use it for showering, which approximately is 17 gallons. This is all per day. A faucet running could be 16.15 gallons per day. A water a water leak is 10.2 gallons. The toilet is 20.4 gallons, and the washing machine is 14.45 gallons. And all of the any excess water you may use, not for these, is about 6.8 gallons. This adds up to 85 gallons a day per person, which is 31,025 gallons a year per person. So it's important to know where our water comes from and what's going on with it because we use so much of it in our daily lives. So here is a little diagram of our water service providers. For the Santa Clarita Division of the Water Agency, we mostly get all of our water from Castaic Lake, the State Water Project, and wells. 30,000 roughly households are served, and the median income is about $99,000. The total average monthly bill is $65.36. Valencia Water Division and Newhall Water Division also get their water from Castaic Lake, which is a part of the State Water Project, as well as wells. The Valencia Water Division serves roughly 24,000 households with a median income of $104,000. And then the average monthly bill is $51.94. The Newhall Division roughly serves 5,500 households with a median income of $81,000 and the average monthly bill of $71.66. So if you have any questions, you can contact the SCV Water Agency. Here's their general number and general contact information. But if you visit their website at SCV Water, yourscvwater.com, I will show you. You can get the contact numbers for every single specific division. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there is the general information for SCV Water. There is the information for SCV Water Newhall, Santa Clarita, and Valencia. They have a phone number for general questions, concerns, and they have a phone number for phone payments as well as an email and their specific address. So, how can you get involved? You can go to our website, which I will talk about later. You can attend the local Integrated Regional Water Management or IRWN committee meetings or sign up for future updates, which you can also do through them. So, we're going to loop back around to what WaterTalks is trying to do. So, we're in phase one right now, the outreach phase. We're trying to talk to communities about what's going on with the water situation. And we're trying to get to phase two, which is we're trying to assess the problems in your community to find out what you need from us and from the state. Phase three is technical assistance. We start to develop and ideas for our project proposals. And then the last step is the implementation of these projects to actually put the help in your hands and your get you what your community needs. So here are some of the links to stay involved. There is the IRWM website. Let's go to that one. This will give you more information about the IRWM plan and what they are doing, any updates they may have, any regional questions you may have. There is the mailing list where you can sign up for emails and updates in case anything changes, information. And then there's our website, which again, I will loop back to right now. So We currently have an outreach survey on our website to try and take us to phase two and try and help you and identify your community needs. So, if you go to our website, super simple, the survey will approximately take 10 minutes. There's a survey in English, and then there is the survey in Spanish as well. There is also more information on our website below that and a couple tools that you can use, such as an interactive map, find out more about where you are and what's going on. And you also have the chance to win a $100 gift card for completing the survey. So, super simple. We're trying to figure out how to help you and how to get you involved in decisions being made about your water. And that concludes it for the Canyon Country Water Talks meeting for 2020. Thank you so much for listening. And that's all.